Once more, as the agenda is about to start, please kindly be seated and remain calm. Thank you. Om Swastiastu.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Shalom.
Namo Buddhaya and Salam Harmony. The Excellency, Rector of Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha, which represented by Vice Rector of Academic and Cooperation Undiksa.
The Honorable Vice Rector of Undiksa.
Bureau Chief in Undiksa.
Dean Faculty in Undiksa.
President of Scientists and Engineers Without Borders, Sogang University.
President Academic Society for Appropriate Technologies, Sogang University.
Director of International Cooperation Center for Science and Technology, Sogang University.
Our plenary and invited speakers.
And our beloved committee and attendee, whether here or through online meeting.
First and foremost, let us extend our deepest gratitude to the Almighty God, for it is by their almighty grace and blessing that we are here gathered for the first day of International Conference of Appropriate Technology 2024.
May this gathering be filled with inspirations, meaningful discussion, and impactful outcome. I'm Gede Susila Dharma Putra, and my partner,
Gong Dewi, will be pleased to be your master of ceremony today.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for us to introduce a highly respected individual whose leadership and contribution have been widely recognized. We are privileged to have with us today Professor Wunkuli, Director of the Sogang Lupik Project from Korea. Without further delay, please join me in welcoming Professor Wunkuli to deliver the opening speech. Professor, the stage is yours.
Selamat pagi, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and distinguished speakers. Welcome to the 15th International Conference on Appropriate Technology in a beautiful place, Singaraja, Bali. It is my great honor to stand here to share knowledge and encourage collaborations. This year's conference is possible due to great efforts of our organizing bodies, LUPIC, SEWP, Appropriate Technology, and especially Undiksha team, whose dedication have created a platform for us. Together, we celebrate the shared belief that collaboration and communication are vital in addressing the complex challenges we face in our rapidly changing world. Over the next 2 days, we will discuss exciting topics. Through this opportunity, we will have a networking opportunity that will not only ignite your passion for technology, but also inspire you to think about outside of community. This is more than just a conference. It's a gathering of minds committed to advancing our understanding and application of modern technology. Let's use this opportunity to share our findings, exchanging ideas, and build lasting partnerships. I encourage you all to participate actively, ask questions, and make friends with one another. Especially, I hope all the participants outside of this area can have a chance to make good friends with dolphins around here. Finally, I want to extend my gratitude to all our sponsors, partners, and volunteers who support whose support has been invaluable in making this conference a reality. Thank you again for being here, especially who flew a long way from Korea and other parts of Indonesia. Let's make the 15th International Conference on Appropriate Technology an unforgettable experience full of learning, inspiration, and innovation. Welcome to Singaraja, Bali, and let the conference begin. Terima kasih. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Wongkali, for your inspiring opening speech. Our honorable guests, now it is our distinct honor to invite the Vice Rector of Academic and Corporation Undiksa to have an opening address. So please welcome Professor Dr. Gede Rasbendantes.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. 안녕하세요. The Honorable Professor Lee, Director of Sogang Lupik Project Korea. The Honorable Professor Ki Bokmin, the President of Academic Society for Appropriate Technology Korea. Professor Sin, President of Scientists and Engineer Without Border Korea. And today also join with us Vice Rector and also Dean at Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha, and distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and all dear participants. And once again, good morning, Om Swastiastu, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, salam sehat, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua, salam namo budaya, salam kebajikan, dan salam harmoni. It's a great honor to be here on behalf of Rector of Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha. I would like to welcome all of you at 15th International Conference on Appropriate Technology, and also welcome to our university, Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha, and also welcome to Singaraja, Bali. Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha is one of the school teacher training in Indonesia. We are the state university. We have 12 school for teacher training in Indonesia, and one institution located in Bali, in northern of Bali. And I hope everyone enjoy the international conference, and I hope this conference will be run smoothly and successfully and beneficial for all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this conference, Bridging the Gap, Appropriate Technology for Sustainable Development, resonates deeply with our mission at Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha. We believe that appropriate technology is a powerful tool for addressing the pressing challenge of our time, from poverty and inequality to climate change and environmental degradation. By harnessing the potential of innovative and locally relevant solutions, we can create a more just, equitable, and sustainable future for all. We are deeply honored and grateful for the opportunity to host ICAT 2024, working alongside our esteemed colleague from Sogang University International Cooperation Center for Science and Technology, and Scientists and Engineers Without Border has been an invaluable experience for all of our staff. Their expertise, guidance, and unwavering support has been instrumental in the success of this conference. We are particularly indebted to all members of the organizing committee for their tireless effort in organizing this event. Their dedication and commitment have made a significant impact on the conference and have inspired us to continue our work in the field of appropriate technology. And ladies and gentlemen, the choice of Bali as the conference venue is deliberate As a region with a rich cultural heritage and diverse landscape, Bali offers a unique setting for exploring the intersection of tradition and innovation. Moreover, hosting international conference on appropriate technology in a relatively underdeveloped area underscore our commitment to bringing appropriate technology to those who need it most. I encourage all participants to engage in thought-provoking discussion, share your valuable insight, and forge new partnership. Together we can build a stronger global community that is more resilient, sustainable, and inclusive. Once again, welcome to Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha. Welcome to International Conference on Appropriate Technology 2024. I wish all of you a fruitful and memorable conference. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Kamsahamnida. Om Santi 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 Om. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sehat, salam harmoni.
Thank you, Prof, for your insightful opening address. Moving on, we would like to welcome a distinguished leader in the field of technology and innovation, Professor Ki Buk-min, President of the Academic Society for Appropriate Technology in Korea. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Good morning. Distinguished guests and speakers, and in particular colleagues from Undiksha, Rector of Undiksha, Professor Waiwan Lasmawan, and Dean of Natural Science and Mathematics of Undiksha, Professor Wayan Sukra Wapala, and Indonesian Director of Sogang Lupik Uni Project, Professor Asep Kadarohman. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ki Bong-min, and I'm the President for Academic Society for Appropriate Technology. It is my great pleasure and honor to welcome you all to the 15th International Conference on Appropriate Technology. Academic Society for Appropriate Technology was founded 9 years ago, and more than 300 members from the society are dedicated to providing science and engineering solutions that are more affordable, energy efficient, and environmentally friendly. We work very closely with local communities, emphasizing the significance of appropriate technology, highlighting its socially relevant impact and practical applications. I'm very proud that many of our members have been taking initiatives in activities such as outreach of science and technology, official development assistance program, and development of both traditional and modern appropriate technology, driven by our strong sense of social responsibility. The theme of this year's conference, that is STEM education, is particularly significant. While previous 14 conferences have explored topics such as water, public health, climate change, and information technology, this is the first time we are specifically focusing on education in science and technology. We are acutely aware of how science and technology shaped our world. Yet, we also acknowledge that many people around the globe don't fully benefit from these advancements due to the limited educational resources. This disparity is far from ideal, and we believe it is unacceptable. The papers and posters presented at this conference cover a wide range of important topics. I believe that your work will significantly contribute to improving STEM education and building a more sustainable society. In this regard, I extend my sincere gratitude to all the presenters for sharing their valuable findings. Finally, I express sincere appreciation to the organizing committee members for their dedication to this conference that is held outside Korea for the first time. Special thanks go to the colleagues from the university, from Undiksha, and also special thanks go to the chairs of the organizing committee, Professors Won-gu Lee and Kwang-woo Shin of Seogang University, and Secretary General Dr. Sung-pil Jung from Korea Institute of Science and Technology. Once again, a warm welcome to each of you to the conference, and please enjoy the conference and Bali. Thank you, and terima kasih. Thank you.
What an inspiring words. Thank you very much, Professor. Up next, we are proud to invite Professor Kwang-woo Shin, the President of Scientists and Engineers Without Borders Korea, to give an opening address. Please give a warm up of applause.
Okay, good morning. The distinguished guests and all the friends, my friends, welcome to the conference. It is really the true honor to having this beautiful conference. Welcome you, all these guests, to the 15th International Conference on Appropriate Technologies. This event is especially meaningful as it is supported by our organization, Scientists and Engineers Without Borders. It remains us to the challenges that whether global or local, the whether global or local can be overcome through science and technologies. And most importantly, through our compassions. I was thinking about one message I have to give you today and to share with you all this with my friends. And then I want to emphasize about the compassions. Compassion to our neighborhood and for the challenges we face and also the people. Before this conference ends, I hope all of you live these shared visions and sense of the important values. Again, the theme of the conference is fostering STEM education. Make it particularly special. We have students from Korea. We have many students from the high school, also the college students, and also the very young researchers throughout the countries, and also the first year faculty member of Korea as well. And then they not only have to learn, but also have to find a way, feel a sense of the belonging in these global communities together. I hope this conference inspire all of us connect with each other and share the idea and work together with more compassionate and sustainable future. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sins. For the next one, it is our honor to introduce a guiding light in our midst, Professor Deong-yeon, the head of the local organizing committee here in Indonesia, to give a congratulatory remarks. Please come up to the stage.
Okay. Selamat pagi is right. Okay. As distinguished guests and scholars in Undiksha and ladies and gentlemen and all the students, I am Professor Jae-yong-yoon from College of Engineering at Seoul National University. It is my honor to deliver this congratulatory message at International Conference on Appropriate Technology. I believe my connections to this event stem from I served as President of Scientists and Engineers Without Borders and being founding President of Appropriate Technology Society. First and most, I would like to congratulate 15th International Conference on Appropriate Technology on being held Ganesha University of Education in Bali, Undiksa, right? Since the inception in the early 2000s, ICAT has become the most prestigious academic conference in the field of appropriate technology and official development assistance, which is called ODA. It is highly significant. ICAT 24 is being abroad in here for the first time. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to everyone who worked very hard to make this event possible. In particularly, my thanks to go to President of ICAT 24 Organizing Committee, Director Wang-Gyu Lee of the International Cooperation Center for Science and Technology at Sogang University. We have a lot of faculty members from Sogang University being here. And President Singwano is Science and Without Borders, President Kibok Min of Appropriate Technology Society. He is my colleague in same university. Many representatives from Ganesha University of Education in Bali. Appropriate technology, which emphasizes technology for the community, works tirelessly around the world under the spirit of developing and disseminating technology for the majority of the global populations. I believe this effort has focused on providing the basic necessity of life and expanding educational infrastructures. These values and philosophy are well reflected in the United Nations Millennium Development Goal, which is called MDGs, and Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, which has become explanatory practice and the trend. Under this philosophy, our International Conference in Appropriate Technology addresses topics such as ICT convergence, fourth industrial revolutions, inclusion and sharing, post-pandemic era, and climate change. Building on these themes of appropriate technology and social contribution in 2023, this year's conference focuses on appropriate technology and science education this time. The themes of this 15th ICAT is sustainable development and science educations. Sustainable society, science educations have complementary relationship. Science education fosters understanding of global issues and critical thinking skills necessary for sustainable society. While sustainable society recognizes the importance of science education, promote its development innovations. In this regard, active role of international cooperation, Center for Science and Technology at the Sogang University and the Ganesha University of Education in organizing this conference hold great significance. I'd like to conclude my congratulatory remark by expressing my support for fruitful appropriate technology conference, while rich discussions on sustainability and science educations will lead to meaningful outcomes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. Last but not least, let's invite Professor Asep Kadorahman, the Indonesian Director of Sogang Lupik Project, to give us the last congratulatory remarks. Please come up front.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. I'm Asep Kadar Rahman from Indonesia University of Education. I'm as a local coordinator of Leading University Project for International Cooperation, initiated by Sogang University, Professor Lee. There are 3 universities in Indonesia, UPI, Undiksa, and UNES, with the focus to increase the quality of science education in Indonesia. This project has been conducting 5 years for 6 years. And through the LUPIC project, we'll support 3 universities with some instrumental laboratory, and then give the training to increase the capacity of lecturers and students in science. In this conference, we would like to share best practices. What is the LUPIC project activities? And also, we would like to collaborate more deeply with our friend from the Korea. I hope with this conference, we get new insight how to increase the quality education in science in Indonesia. Last but not least, I would like to congratulate to all of the speakers, participants, and also thank you deeply to Rector Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha, especially in here, Vice Rector for Academics and Collaboration Affairs, and also our colleges who join with this conference. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Asep. Ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is a photo session. So we would like to invite all attendees to join us for a group photo to capture this moment together. Please kindly make your way to the designated area for Photoshop, and for the committee, please take over. Once again, please stand up for our photo.
important parts of today's event. To lead this session, it is my pleasure to introduce our moderator, Professor Wong Ko Lee, the director of Sogang Lupik project from Korea. Okay, without any further ado, I invite the moderator to take over the session. So please come with us.
Okay, so before we starting the plenary speeches, we have very, very important agenda for this afternoon. So everybody had this T-shirt? Right, you must have T-shirts. So after the poster session in the afternoon, gonna be in the next building, and everybody has to change your clothing to this one. And you're gonna have spectacular pictures with all the same T-shirts on the outside, okay? Right after poster session, okay? So having your T-shirts on hand and then exchange anytime, and then we'll see outside later this afternoon. Everybody understand? Okay, I'm looking forward to see that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Once again, we invite Professor Wong Ko Lee to take over the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning. It's my honor to be the chair of the plenary session today. And the first speaker this plenary session is Professor Yoon Jae-yong from Department of Chemical and Biological Engineering, Seoul National University. The topic today is appropriate technology, climate crisis, and international collaboration. Please, Professor Yoon Jae-yong.
Okay. As materials, is anyone by fire? Right. Right. I'm gonna talk about appropriate technology, climate crisis, and international collaborations. Following congratulatory my remark. Next one. Next slide, please. Okay, this is very well-known pictures of appropriate technology. Small kid is drinking water with some small tool of like straw. Right? We know this is a very good example of appropriate technology. This is really good technology. Without this one, this kid's life may be dangerous, right? However, this technology refers to more widely the philosophy and directions, and science and technology, where to go. Right. Next slide. Appropriate technology for the basic need of the people. We know that science technology for the other 90% of the population in global world. So it's helping a lot of people. Next one. This is the picture I taken at the time when I deeply involved in this activity. Right? There are many areas. There are lack of basic need of drinking water and energy and some other educational infrastructure. Next one. Then Science Engineered Without Border was formed, generated in 2009. Founding president is Professor Yu Young-jae, is my colleague in my department. The vision, we have a vision, better world with science and technology. SWB and Academic Society of Appropriate Technology engaged in various activities aimed at overcoming poverty and improving the quality of life in underdeveloped or developing country. Next slide. This is the couple of examples we deeply involved in this activity. Okay. Participated in improving many wells with poor sanitary conditions near the torrential lake. That's a big lake. It's Angkor Wat, near the Angkor Wat in Siem Reap, Cambodia, 2014. This is another example in the Mindanao area, Mindanao Island in Philippines. We participated in activity improve the water supply facility. This is an elementary school, and at the school located in Mindanao Island in Philippines. This is the activity of Professor Meng-Min Soo. I guess he's here, right? Raise your hand. He's participated in case study of high adsorption bone char productions for fluorine removal purification system. Arusha in Tanzania. Arusha is very close to that national park is in Tanzania, very famous national park. This is another activity, I-Tech activity, Innovative Technology Energy Center in Tanzania in this time. Solar plant. I-Tech is built solar power plant. Very interesting thing is transferred them to the villagers, supporting the village of self-sufficiency by handing over the operational management of this system to the village committee for sustainable development. Now, if you look at the history of appropriate technology from the Gandhi's Springfield to Schumacher, economist, small is beautiful, and up to the Millennium Development Goal of UN. The spirit and history of technology has been embedded and have evolved. This is the Sustainable Development Goal. This is new global development goal adopted by UN General Assembly in September 2015. This program will go on to up to 2030. Now, we are living in the era of global climate crisis, right? It's human civilization in the danger. The sign of climate crisis and crisis of sustainable development are manifesting as climate disaster worldwide. I was told that the temperature is in this Bali Island has been grown up last several decades, right? I told about that. Right. Last year, Antonio Guterres, that he is UN Secretary General, announced the era of global boiling. We used to call it global warming. Now it's global boiling has arrived. Right, we need to do something. Now, the most threatening factor, sustainable development, is climate crisis. IPCC, I'm not quite sure you heard about this organization. This is very well known, the most authoritative body of climate change science. IPCC confirmed we have human influence has warmed atmosphere, ocean, and land. We have almost linear relationship between greenhouse gas emissions, accumulated carbon dioxide, and the increase in global surface temperature. Climate crisis is a result of fossil fuel civilizations. Right? Fossil fuel is source of the energy. Without that, we cannot make a living. Then how can we have such a civilization without relying on fossil fuel? That's the very difficult, challenging. Industrial revolutions that's the fossil fuel revolution we may call, despite its short-term negative impact, such as poor working conditions, deteriorating urban environment. This one ultimately led to long-term economic development and improvement, human living standard. However, this one brought us big, serious problems. If you look at this chart shows since Industrial Revolution here in 18th century, the use of fossil fuel has steadily increased, shifting from coal to oil. Right now it's gas. Is accounting for more than 80% of world total energy consumptions. I think in Indonesia also similar percentage of fossil fuel consumptions will be. Fossil fuel and energy and greenhouse gas is very closely related with. Fossil fuels provide energy needed to produce electricity, power, construct building, and produce food. It's everything, our life. In this process, they emit carbon dioxide, greenhouse gas. To overcome this cycle, carbon neutral engineering is necessary. We need whole new type of engineering is required for survival of human civilizations. Now, this is analysis our Korean economy. All the energy we used as fossil fuel, we have to import from other countries. So we can count that amount of coal, amount of oil, amount of gas. If we burn those fossil fuel, that's exactly equal to the amount of greenhouse gas emissions in a year. So without relying on fossil fuel consumptions, we cannot have carbon neutral society. No way. This is the IEA report. I'm sorry that you had to figure out the small letters. This one is report clearly. Most of fossil fuel based technology currently we rely on must be changed. Carbon neutral technology by 2050. So we need new technology. I mentioned carbon neutral technology. You may call carbon neutral engineering, whatever you want to call. That's the technology system, minimize, offset carbon emissions by maximizing energy efficiency. We have to improve energy efficiency. We need to use renewable energy, not fossil fuel energy, in order to reduce carbon emissions. I call it, this is the new forms of approved technology. Approved technology will be greatly expanded from the providing basic needs of the humans. Right. This is the mention about Paris Climate Conference, which is held 2015, which is held obviously in Paris. That this gentleman is Bang Ki-moon, he is Korean that time. Significance of Paris Agreement. This is the number of countries participating in Paris Climate Agreement exceed 190, including obviously Indonesia. Is the number of the country global is just 200. Almost all the countries agreed to this agreement. This is, you may call, the beginning of the end of the fossil fuel. Not the end of the fossil fuel, the beginning of the end of the fossil fuel. To limit the temperature rise to centigrade as compared to pre-industrial level, to make an effort to limit the temperature increase 1.9 centigrade. This is the beginning of a new climate era, requiring the establishment and implementation nationally determined contribution. That's the goal. Greenhouse gas emission reductions. That's the goal. Indonesian also have an NDC goal. Korean, we have an NDC goal. So greatly emphasis on the international cooperations. Korea announced carbon neutrality by 2050 in the year of 2020. Right, at the time President Moon announced that. Europeans, they are very long history of experience of handling climate crisis. So obviously they announced European Green Deal. They announced the European Green Deal. They aimed to make Europe climate neutral by 2050. To make this objective, Commission proposed, actually passed European climate law, right? So they have a law. Obviously, Korea also have a law. China is growing economy, it's big population. Also China, they pledged to have carbon neutrality, but not 2050. They announced 2060. Indonesia have same goal. They announced carbon neutrality by 2060. Japan is advanced country, as they announced carbon neutrality by 2050. US also, they have Biden administrations returned the US Paris Climate Accord just after becoming president. Next month we have US president elections. Right, let's see who's going to be next president in US. Right, it's depending on Democratic or Republican. This US stance may be a little different, but overall trend is not changing. Indonesia, I little bit studied for this talk. Fourth largest populations. Indonesia is big country, best land area. And Indonesia is growing very fastly last decade. So that increasing electricity demand due to industrialization, urbanization, that's the obvious. Fifth largest greenhouse gas emitter in the world. Indonesia carbon neutrality declarations is by 2060 participated to JEP, the Just Energy Transition Partnership. That include coal phase-out plan. This is very important. Indonesia coal is being used for generating electricity. Indonesia also declare carbon neutrality for energy sector by 2050. Declaration of carbon neutrality, now more than 130 countries announced carbon neutrality by 2050. So this transition to carbon neutral society is just global trend. Maybe we have up and down, but it will go in that direction because there is no other alternative human civilization is facing. What is the global greenhouse gas emission level? That's interesting. How much we're going to emit? Which country most likely to be more responsible for emitting significant amount of greenhouse gases? Interesting statistics we have. China, United States, and India only 3 countries together, they are emit more than 50% of global emissions. So the effort of these 3 countries is very highly important. Without participating of these 3 countries, so no good result is expected. However, greenhouse gas emissions are increasing in developing and underdeveloped countries because they want to have their people is better standard of living. So the economic growth, obvious thing, so increasing. This table shows that greenhouse gas emissions ranked by emissions, right? Here is data, a little old one, 2018, Indonesia is 8th. Now is the 5th. Korea is 11th. Now is 10th. If you look at this one, this is the greenhouse gas emissions per person, not total amount of greenhouse gas emissions. If you look at the East Asia, its average is 8.6, 9 tons of greenhouse gas emissions per person. In Korea, it's 14, more than 9. We are emitting 14 tons of greenhouse gas emissions. Indonesia, even they have emit large amount of greenhouse gas emissions, but if you divide it by your population, that is small still. But that will be increasing, right? So we have 2 directions. We have 2 directions for international collaborations for climate crisis, international cooperation for mitigations. How are we going to reduce greenhouse gas emissions? And meanwhile, environmental disaster will be happen everywhere. So we need to prepare. We need to improve infrastructure, dam and road and port and building. In the case of disaster happens, that is called international cooperation on adaptations. International cooperation should contribute to global reduction of carbon, reduction of greenhouse gases, and support sustainable development and climate response of counterpart country, which is very close to philosophy of split of appropriate technology. Right. Now, this is green global carbon emissions. We emit globally 55 gigaton globally. You know how much Korea country emit this one? 7.3. No, it's 0.73. Only 1.3%. It's not that big numbers if you consider global emissions, but this amount of the country emitting this amount of emissions, there are many. This is combined, those whole emissions will be close to that 55 gigaton. The problem we have, global dilemma of transition to carbon neutrality. Even if Korea, Republic of Korea, not North Korea, is achieve carbon neutrality, it does not mean global society will become carbon neutral, right? Problem is, even it's not easy for Korea to achieve carbon neutrality either, right? Then how are we going to do? Global environmental issue can only be solved with participation of all members of international community, right? That's signify the importance of international collaborations. Now we have a goal, 2030 NDC goal. That's the national goal of greenhouse gas reductions. We have 40% reductions 40% reactions. If you look at little bit detail in here, we're going to reduce power, electricity generation. We're going to reduce in the field of industry, building, transportation, and agriculture. If you look at a little interesting sections in here, international here, we need to reduce 37.5 million tons of greenhouse gas. This is very huge amount of the greenhouse gas emissions. As Korean people, 10 million people, they have to reduce. They have to reduce their emissions. That means very difficult to achieve. Okay. Now, how are we going to achieve this goal by international collaboration? Which this indicate Paris Agreement, Article 6. This is very professional word. Article 6 indicate how we're going to achieve this goal by international collaboration. That's the Article 6.2, Article 6.4, and Article 6.8. You don't have to remember all this one. There are other terms for international collaborations in the Paris Agreement. That's the important if you have interest. 6.2, that's the deal with international collaboration, climate actions. Regarding carbon market, transfer of mitigation outcome between two countries. Article 6.4, sustainable mechanism. That mechanism, similar to CDM, is that originally developed in Kyoto Protocol. So we have two articles indicating how we're going to achieve international collaboration. Article 6.8, that's the non-market approach that we've been doing in the area of appropriate technology, right? It's working together. That's similar to ODA project, right? First of all, ODA project. This is currently difficult to receive carbon credit, contribute to international reduction effort. However, it can be utilized. It can be utilized as foundational project for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Right? It's improving capacity of that recipient country, or building infrastructure like that, something like that. This is one of the example of such a project I'd like to introduce. Cambodia Independent Solar Power Plant Construction Project. This one done 2009 to 2011. Construction independent solar power plant was built in local area in Cambodia. This project supported by ODA. COICA is organization of ODA, right? So provided is that certain amount of electricity, around 200 kilowatt hour. Okay. This is the example of Article 6.2 project. This is actively on the way. It's expanding. Korean government have agreement currently, 4 countries, Vietnam, Mongolia, Gabon, and Uzbekistan. I think Indonesia is good country. Is Korean government needed to develop this agreement, right? Looking forward to activation of many collaborative activity related to international emission reductions with the country, Vietnam, Mongolia, Gabon, Uzbekistan in the future, and some other country, including Indonesia. This is very interesting project. It's agreement provisional agreement with Ghana, located in Africa. This is provide water purification facility in this area undertaken by Glory and Tech. Glory and Tech, anyone is from Glory and Tech, is very well-known organization, actively participate in the field of appropriate technology. Right. That's the, if you provide one purifier water, 1 tons of purified water, you can get the credit and 0.16 ton of greenhouse gas. Right. You can get such a carbon credit by providing facility or by providing purified water. Right. This is the very well-known example of in the field of appropriate technology, providing is G-Saver. G-Saver is stove, right? Heat stove with good energy efficiency. This is being provided in Mongolia. And second example is Bangladesh. That's the cook stove. In these kinds of project has been well known in the field of appropriate technology, but it can be obtained carbon credit by providing this facility. Another example is GGGI. GGGI is international organization focused on supporting developing emerging economies to achieve sustainable, inclusive economic growth. If you're burning biomass in outdoor, it contributes greenhouse gas emissions. Then if you use biomass to make biochar, you can hold greenhouse gas in biochar. It can be used such a soil additive to improving soil conditions, right? That's the, it can be carbon credit can be obtained with the support of GGGI. GGGI headquarters is located in Korea. Right. This is now I'd like to make conclusion and the summary. In the era of climate crisis, it would be beneficial to expand the scope of appropriate technology from the traditional effort aimed to improving basic living standard to include greenhouse gas reductions or climate adaptation activity for transition to carbon neutrality. This is very important message I'd like to deliver today. To achieve this practically, it would be good approach to take an interest in international reduction mechanism, which is a little bit complicated. We need to learn. We need to study. International cooperation aimed at achieving 2030 NDC. 2030 NDC is very important goal in almost every country in global society. So we need to study what is the NDC of your country, my country, how can we collaborate together. Okay. As part of the international reduction mechanism, it is very necessary fully understand, actively utilize significance. I mentioned Article 6.2, Article 6.4, and Article 6.8. That's the Paris Agreement on climate change. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you very much, Professor Yoon, for your valuable sharing. And Professor Yoon will be happy to take questions from the audience. Any questions? Okay. There.
Thank you very much. Nice presentation by the professor. My name is Idewa Ketut Sastraviana from Chemistry Department, Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha. Talking about climate crisis or global warming, I think climate crisis is caused by greenhouse gas in the atmosphere, for example, carbon dioxide and methane. The production of carbon dioxide gas, I think, is still debatable between developing country and developed country. Developing country lack the population, and the developed country lack industry activity. Lack population produce the carbon dioxide, and the large activity industry produce the carbon dioxide. In this moment, talking about appropriate technology, maybe you have a suggestion how to approach technology suitable to overcome this greenhouse gas in Indonesia, for example. Yeah. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. Right, that's very important questions. Developing country is lack of technology or lack of capital to pursue for carbon neutrality. Developing country want to have economic growth. Right? In order to have very good economic growth, you have to rely on fossil fuel, right? Fossil fuel emissions. Then that we have to compromise together with developed country. Developed country, they may have some of the technology or capital and knowledge. Developing country need such resources to achieve carbon neutral society, right? That's the starting point, international collaboration. Then, second question is Indonesia. What kinds of social technology or activity would be required? That's the depending on local conditions, right? Indonesia really huge country. Some area is biomass is plentiful, but is not being well utilized. Then biochar project may be attractive. Some area, I am not that quite sure if Bali Island, all the electricity is coming from Java Island. So Bali Island maybe need to be more energy independent by developing renewable energy, right? That's one of the choice, solar plant or some other approach. In here is volcanic area, right? Volcanic area is geothermal energy is plentiful, but I'm not quite sure that's the potentials. At the time when I visit Jakarta, is that we have a Hyundai Auto Company built manufacturing company over there. That manufacturing company is totally carbon neutral, rely on geothermal energy on the ground. That's a very good example. But I'm not quite sure in Bali Island such an alternative has been actively investigated, pursued, right? That area of the starting point, international collaborations, we needed to study together, we need to work together, right?
Any more questions?
Thank you for the presentation. I appreciated your view on appropriate technology. My question is, you mentioned how the direction of appropriate technology should expand to encompass renewable energy and sustainability. So my question is, if appropriate technology encompasses those new fields, what will be the definition or boundary of appropriate technology? because as you mentioned in your presentation, for now, we have focused on technology that have been created to satisfy the most basic goals of human life, like clean drinking water and efficient heating. But if we grow to encompass renewable energy and carbon capture, where will the boundary of appropriate technology be drawn?
Right. Thank you for very important questions. I've been thinking about it many years. I'm not quite sure remembers that my remark of congratulatory remark early in the morning. In a circle of appropriate technology society, we have many discussions. What's the definition of appropriate technology? Some of the people, they insist appropriate technology has to be confined more narrowly, like so, like G-Saver, efficient store. But in the other group of appropriate technology, that may be good. It's good for providing basic need of the people in the local area. But that has to be expanded because time is changing. Expanded to where? I was told it's Bali Island, you do not have a significant level of manufacturing industry. Tourism industry is big industry. Second one is agriculture. Under the circumstances, what kinds of STEM activity we gonna pursue, right? Even your society is not behind for rapid development of science technology. That's the very good questions we need to thinking about together, right? That my opinions is that roadmap for appropriate technology will be can be different depending on where you are, where you living. Right, that's my question. I do not have a concrete answer, but as each individual in local area, they have to find themselves. Thank you.
You still have a question? Okay, go ahead.
Good day, Professor Yun, and good day, everyone. I have a bit different background. I'm from medical faculty of Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha, so I don't really have sufficient background about the technology, but I'm more interested in the policy because your presentation was marvelous. I really love it, and I love how effective was the initiative, like the collaboration between Korea and other nations. So I'm more interested about the funding of the policy. Is it solely from the government, or did you secure extra funds from the international NGOs, for example, or other international bodies? Because currently the big problem that Indonesia is facing, considering our economic state and also landscape, is related to funds. I did a quick research earlier, and only like less than 12.3% of renewable energy is used in Indonesia, and mostly it's related to funds. We don't have enough funds. It's really difficult to get solar energy actually working in Indonesia. So I was wondering if maybe we can apply some of those specific policies also in Indonesia. Thank you very much.
That's very good questions. Yes, in order to do something good, is appropriate technology project or greenhouse gas emission reduction project, we need support, right? Realistically, we need resources, right? Then that first thing we can thinking about is international ODA project. ODA project is good starting point we needed to explore. And when you have an ODA project, right, is that recipient country has to propose first, right? It's not any organizations, university in Korea. It's not important. That recipient country, maybe Ganesha University, or some of the organizations in here, they want to have this project proposed, Korean government, like KOICA, or international organizations, and explaining why this project is very important for sustainable development, global sustainable development. How we gonna contribute to this project to that Paris Agreement or NDC goal? Not just Indonesian, also Korean, right? That's the mutually is beneficial, right? That's the first point. Second point, if we passing through that stage of the level, now private company may have a concern. They want to investigate, but not the first time. So it's making environment first, much more important, right?
Any more questions? Okay. Please give her a mic, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor. My name is Ninyowan Pujianiki from Udayana University. I want to, I'm Balinese actually. I want to talking about the global warming or climate change. As a Balinese, we have local genius we call Silent Day. Yeah, okay. In Silent Day, we do some activity, for example, no pleasure, no traffic, no fire, and no walks. And we can prove that in one day, for activity, we can reduce the pollutant and we can reduce the emission. So I invite all the researchers to prove this in Bali, and if we can prove it, why we cannot apply it in the world? Okay? Yeah, I think this is just suggestion, and we would like to invite you to doing this research on Silent Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to ask a maybe last question. Due to the climate changes, lots of damages are being done to developing country, not to the developed country, which is the major contributor. And how, I'm wondering, how can we find a solution for that kind of problem?
Right, that's
it's a very complex,
right,
problem.
Very difficult I mentioned earlier, important thing is cumulative greenhouse gas emissions, right, in the air, right? Most of the greenhouse gas emissions was done by developed country, right? Developed country. Right. Now we have middle of the climate crisis. Rich country, they have resources and money. So they can improve infrastructure. So they can handle flooding or drought. But underdeveloped country, developing country, also they have a disaster, right? Environmental disaster. But they do not have good amount of resources handling such a disaster. That's the problem. Then they want to economic growth by using fossil fuel more and more. Then that's the end of the human civilizations, right? That's the, eventually we all suffered, even developed country. But not right now, maybe 10 years, 20 years later, right? So that's why I am emphasizing international corporations, right? We have to be more wise, right? right? We have to be more honest, right? So with that in mind, we have to develop such a program. How we gonna work together to handle this human crisis we are facing right now? Right, that's my...
Thank you very much. And there's a wonderful gift from Undiksha to the plenary speakers. Let me show you.
Wow. Oh, this is really wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Right.
So let's give him a big applause for his wonderful talk.
I asked the questions. Why you have elephant image in the middle of the world? Is that mentioned? I was explained to me is that elephant is symbol of knowledge. Knowledge is wisdom. We need this one right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, I'd like to invite the second plenary speaker, Pak Michael T.E. Manawan, MSI, SSI, senior researcher from National Research Agency, Indonesia. His topic would be leveraging lithium-ion batteries and solar panels for resilient low-carbon energy future, Indonesia's strategic resource role. Please welcome Pak Michael.
Good morning, honorable guests and the organizing committee. Thank you for having me. I just go to, without too much detail, go to be brief. And then I try to represent BRIN and University of Defense, as well as the Ministry of Defense. And then maybe my research of, actually I'm a crystallographer, but then I have some research with battery and some of solar panel. Okay. Oops. How do it works? Okay. This is the carbon that we consume if you have like 4 person in your house. Average household energy, something like this, average. So about 20 kilowatt per day, and go up to 40 kilowatt per day with pulse pump, AC, EV, etc. And with 10 kilowatt solar system output, you can produce approximately about the same. Okay, so it's replacing the grid electricity. This is the ideal case. And the environment impact, you can see the coal power emits like 1.18 kilogram of CO2 per kilowatt hour, and solar saves about 42.2 kilogram CO2 per day, or 17 tons per year. So it equivalents to annual CO2 reduction like 3.5 cars off the road each day, is something like that. And here you can see the solar panel. Of course, if you use solar panel, you only can harvest the energy at noon, at daytime. But then on the nighttime, how? So you need a battery over there, okay? This is a kind of a carbon offset. I just use, maybe everybody, I try to, try to invite everybody, try to do some individual polls in this 8billiontree.com, and you can see how much carbon footprint approximately they can emit to the atmosphere. That's from global perspective. This is from Indonesia perspective. Yeah. why, if you remember, last time in WTO, we got many complaints even now due to the nickel exports. President tried to won't export the nickel ores, but everybody complaining because they thought that logically, why you not want to import without you have this infrastructure inside. So there now we have infrastructure in the Sulawesi. This is the data from there. So we can have this kind of thing. Unfortunately, the industry streams from China, something like 80 to 90%. We hope that the technology is belong to Indonesia. What happened if the nickel finished? The technology also went back to China. So the products is up to stainless steel, the rolling stainless steel slabs, but not the other in the fabrication and the final product. We don't have that, unfortunately. I came from this structure of the organization. We report up to now. After this new president, I think things got changed. I came from the Research Center of Nanotechnology and Nanomaterials. We have all this list, so I cannot represent everybody, so I just represent for this. We have like 10,000 researchers, engineers, and technicians in Burin. So sometimes if somebody asking me, you know this? Oh, sorry, it's too huge, too huge. Okay, I go down to battery. This is how the battery works. Maybe everybody know about that. When you charge it, you push away lithium back to its parent compound. And if you use it, the lithium will go to graphite, to the anode, something like that. This is just general, okay. Basically, ionic transport, right? And why lithium? Before I go to why, here tips. Suppose I put this slide into the end, but I put in the beginning. If you have, usually you have two type of charging, right? Fast charging, slow charging. If you have a fast charging, you fasten your expired date of your battery. This is the data. So supposed to be slow charging. Otherwise, if the technology you combine with super capacitor and then do slow charging to the battery, that would be great. But of course, the economic is not that good, right? It will increase the price. So here, I just get these three things that lithium charge is like 1 to 3 hours. To third quarter for office topping charts, you will see it later. And fully charged, it will drop. It's too technical, but anyway, it is what it is. And then basically, your lithium-ion battery, if you read it like 10 kilowatt, 10 milliamp, 10,000 milliamp hours. There's an inactive area there, like 30%. You won't use it everything. You like if you discharge everything, you use it. It's not like 70% only you use it. Okay, and then the number of voltage, like here, the voltage increase, your lifetime decrease. As you go, like you use like 80% or 70%, the more you use until it's empty, you shorten the lifespan. Simply. Why lithium-ion battery tech is hot right now? Because everybody are going, at least like industrial country like Korea, US, China, Taiwan, maybe. Here it increase the turn over also the factory, right? It's so sexy right now. And then you can see, now the battery costs, if we drop like 80%, in last decade still 200 kilowatt per hours, now even reduced like even 100 kilowatts per hours. In trade-in for the carbon trading, at least if you just simply look at it, you change your car from gasoline, from fossil fuel to electric. But the thing is that the tricky part is if you ask where the electricity come from, still come from fossil fuel, right? At least in Indonesia. So there's just some. Okay, why would need a battery material right now? Why do we need to make it better battery material? The important thing is the safety issue. Okay. Sorry. The safety issue and the economic. So we have to develop new material or try to tweak the things on the material core itself, not how to prevent it. We know that the battery have these three kind of packing. One is cylinder, Tesla that using it, and the one is the pouch. I think Hyundai and BYD are using it. But again, it's not solving the problem in term of the material. So everybody's still looking at it right now. And from Indonesia, not only Indonesia, everybody, if you go for a battery that have higher energy density, I mean you can go fast, you can go longer. You very, very depend on the raw materials, and it only in certain place you can have it. Like in Indonesia, we have nickel here. But then how about the cobalt? Cobalt is in Africa. So it's quite difficult sometimes. That's why China, even though they have all this, they go for lithium phosphate, LFP, they call it LFP battery. So here like what is better? We go for high specific energy. More energy means more longer. Safety, that's the very important thing. Reduce fire hazard and toxicity. Sustainability, cradle to cradle life cycle. If your life cycle longer, then it means you also reduce this carbon footprint, right? Because this dealing with the recycle of the materials. And then the economical, of course, every industry are looking at that. That's their target. But then convenient, fast charging and wide operating range. This is quite a thing that have to tweak it. Okay. Basically, battery material have this three kind of structure. This structure is deep inside your battery materials. Some battery, like for higher density energy, you go for this 2D, layer by layer. But there's a drawback. If you take out all the lithium is a green ball over there, the structure will collapse. So you cannot discharge every lithium out from your battery. One thing that's true, structure are so rigid is the 1D transport pathway. That's lithium phosphate. That's why, in terms of safety, LFP is more safe rather than the other two, at least all compared to the 2D layered material. But again, the energy density are in the lithium layer material, lithium cobalt oxide or NMC, something like that. That's only how it names the battery. So this is the application, right? I just go through it. So basically for last time they happened iPhone, right? Seems like it's based on data like 2019. So they already changed the battery to LFP. Most of LFP is in our phone, our laptops. And then usually it's households. Because LFP, even though the energy density is low, but the life cycle longer. So usually used as the grid system storage. For car, they go for layered because need the higher energy density, but it compromise the safety. That's the drawback. I just compile everything here, so you can see by safety and by energy density, it's very different material. You cannot go one material, you get higher energy density, but the other thing very safe. So how? This is a $1 million question for researchers. Okay, and then why we go for these? Everybody here in Indonesia knows last time there's a question why Indonesia has to go to NMC, which is nickel, manganese, cobalt, or nickel, cobalt, or aluminum, because we have nickel over there. 30% nickel global. We are the leading of reserve in the world. Oh, sorry. And that's our background. This is the research in our team in Bruin. We go for here some of the materials that we research for. We can increase this 3-volt battery to 5-volt battery. It means it store more energy, right? Simply like your battery energy is like a voltage times your capacity. Capacity is it can be bigger, but now we keep the capacity small, but we increase the voltage, so the capacity increase. This is one of the research, but sorry I cannot. The material is like it's my friend, so I cannot give in detail. This is the other one. We use rare earth element, and then in the middle we use neutron diffraction to find out how the lithium are moving inside the battery to find the fundamental science of it. And this is on the larger scale. Why the battery not last for long? Because when the moment we you're ripping out the lithium and then you're moving it back, it's kind of contract the battery, and then it's expand and it's contraction, something like that. And if it's constantly happen, your battery will crack have this internal crack or stress inside. So slow charging always the best way. But the things that people are in hurry right nowadays, you won't like, oh, why 2 hours, 3 hours if I can charge like 1 hour, right? But inside this happen. We have these two tools in transmission electron microscopy to confirm what happened from the data just now. And this is one of the research for anode material. Before it's a cathode. Cathode, all the material that you have to synthesize from the raw material that I mentioned before is like nickels. And then this for the anode material. Usually anode material we use graphite. But Indonesia, we have a source of graphite, but less than 10%. It's not good enough. It's not techno-economically good to process. So we go from artificial graphite. We have a coal mining mostly in the Kalimantan, in the Borneo Island. Instead it burn for the electricity. We propose to make it an anode. But then the trade-in that said, oh, yeah, the price will increase something like 10 to 20 fold, but this policy is very difficult because our electricity still use coal, like maybe 70 to 80% right now. Okay, so it's difficult sometimes we have to push it to government. And then this is our other research activity to solve the safety issue by using the electrolyte solid lithium, all solid state lithium ion battery. If I go back to the beginning, why the battery are fail? Because still use liquid electrolyte with separator of polymer. So when you battery increase in temperature something like more than like 150 to 200, the polymer will shrink, and then you have short circuit and your battery will burn. So for this, using this new type of battery, this kind of third generation of battery, we can have solid electrolyte. So there won't be any direct contact. But the thing is, the progress is quite low because liquid, the ionic transport is faster than solid. This is very basic challenge. But I think it will move to that side for the future technology. This is our research ecosystem for lithium-ion battery that I mentioned in the beginning. We have raw material handling, how to concentrate it, refining, chemical production, battery manufacturer and user, and battery recycling, and then back again to the beginning. So again, this is still we propose to the government, and then policymaker, if anybody here, please concerned about this, because sometimes in Indonesia one thing is difficult, that collaboration is not that. I'm sorry, I also pity about this. It's collaboration ecosystem is not that sustainable enough. Like changing all the principles, things got changed, policy had changed, and then we have to start from some zero or what? Yeah, for everybody in the government, please. So from here you can see we can increase the nickel ore to nickel sulfate. This factory already in the Sulawesi is in Morowali. Yeah, it's can increase seven times from the ore itself, give us increase in income. But again, the factory is not belong to us. That's a kind of shame. Okay. Now I move to the solar panel, the solar energy. Solar energy is, nowadays we are in the third generation of solar cell. But then we have some problem. We have a lot of silica sand. We have a quartzite. We have this mining industry. So a kind of drawback, but I don't know. We have to utilize our resources rather than export it in raw. Okay, so for solar energy, we need that's the advantage: cleanest source of energy, tremendous potential, and minimum environment impact. I can say zero environment impact if we omit the production. Yeah. And then device material interface engineering. Here you can see development of novel photovoltaic technology and the fundamental losses. Here, all the drawback will be mining costs, maximum efficiency, and the challenge of photovoltaic technology. I start from here. Some of researcher in Brain, we are starting research in third generation. But then, here's the drawback. The drawback, third generation, it means the drawback is, the thing is we have this quartz sand. And then nowadays, the quartz just exporting like that. You just export the quartz sand without do the industrialization. in Indonesia, we have the mining. Oops. Oh, sorry. Can I repeat? And then I move back to the supposed to be. So this is our project now. We propose to the new government because the semiconductor is very sexy topic, maybe, and then we propose this because our project now. We propose to the new government because the semiconductor is very sexy topic, maybe, and then we propose this because after we identify what happening to why our industry are not moving forward, we identify there's no every ministry they have their own policy, their own thing, right? Lack of collaboration. I don't know whether this is like us. This is like us. What we find in Indonesia. So here we put everything like ecosystem industry in the research ecosystem. Of course, university also there, but this is because this is internal slide that we have. So if this thing happen, where you can find that Ministry of Funding, Ministry of Ministry of Defense as a user, Ministry of what happened into the industry, take it back, improve it. So this is kind of a pentahelix concept in Indonesia. Okay, this is nothing. Here is our source of silicon sand. Almost every place in Indonesia, and then we have something like 98% of silicon. We have also the quartzite map. We have a quartz rock, and this is the third generation solar cell activity in Brin, where our other researchers are doing this. But again, we do this on parallel. One do for the third generation, but the rest are still doing for the first generation. Because from the first generation, we are able to produce like, I come back to here. We are able to produce this silicon wafer, where the silicon wafer can use for the solar panel. If it's 6N, it means 99.999, and then for semicon, if it's 9N or 11N, something like that. I think that's all my talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your insightful presentation, Pak Michael. Due to the time constraint, we will take only one question from the audience. Okay.
Hello. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I really enjoyed your talk about batteries and photovoltaic cells. My name is Yeon-Soo Chu. I'm a high school student from South Korea. And I wanted to ask you two questions. One's really simple. I was curious, you mentioned how useful solar panels can be and in making a household sustainable on its own. I was curious why it's not more readily implemented in Indonesia and other parts of the world. I was wondering if that was because of price or accessibility. So why is it not more widely used? Is my first question.
You need to answer it right away? Okay. Okay, it's very good question and also hard for me to answer those, because first of all, the policy in Indonesia. If we're talking about the green energy, we're fighting with this. This is in the plain sight, you know. By logic, you can see that. You have to fight with the coal all this do this business, right? Not only a solar panel that we propose, because Indonesia, the sunlight is continuously. We have continuously. We in the equator. So what is the reason? I can say one thing. This policy about the price terms. The silicon-based solar cell, the price is even cheaper and cheaper nowadays. Lifetime like 25 years. There's no reason, right, if you not adopt this technology. But the thing is, the drawback is kind of thing. So, this question I also raised to the government, but they say, oh yeah, for those who electrify by this coal, it will continue. For those who don't have the access, then we'll put the solar cell over there. That's the thing. But I cannot answer for the other worlds, right? The other country. Maybe the different case, maybe the same. By the logic, you can come out with your own answer.
Thank you for your answer. My second question is, this one's more about the system. In an earlier presentation by the Korean professor, I'm sure a student from that side mentioned that the Indonesian system lacks funding for research and sustainability projects. And then you also mentioned that the current policy about research and the government support lacks collaboration and coordination. I was curious about your opinion on how the system could be improved for science and research in Indonesia.
Again, hard question for me. But this is my personal opinion, yeah. I go to the logic itself. But because this is we debate this kind of thing almost anytime I go for meeting. The lack of collaboration, because from the top-down management or government, sometimes like a good human resource or someone that in place in India or coordination or the project, sometimes they don't know what they are doing. They only like a policymaker, but they lack of the technology or the basic science of it. Not else, how to say. Again, this is my personal opinion. It's very dangerous. Kind of transactional, okay? This is the thing that hidden in the blind side. That's why we try to push it forward. To say, hey, if you want to successfully do this, identify first stage. Identify who is the expert, right? University, research, or ministry, institution, or even individual or industry. Invite them, okay? Invite them, and then we make one long roadmap. Everybody can come with the idea, and then from that, assign one person who know everything about this technology ecosystem side by side with the policymaker, and then they make it. That thing can only happen. Collaboration is the key. But other than that, you got zero result, and it's happening, always happening, everywhere. Sometimes you find out this is the case, yeah. When you research come to the product, the big question, right? Do research, but then what is the product at the end of the day? Only a research paper? Thank you. Thanks for the question. Thank you very much.
I'd like to give Michael the present. And I thought this present is coming from Undiksha, but Professor Shin insisted me this is from the organizing committee. Please give him a big hand for his nice presentation. So this session is over, and we'll have a short coffee break. and photo session. According to the program, we'll have a photo session. And we'll resume the conference, split it in two sessions from 10:45. Thank you.